Hey there, posture guys and gals, and welcome back to the show. As always, I'm your host, Justin Archer, aka the Posture Guy, your #1 source on pain, posture, and performance. And I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I know we did, but late Saturday evening it started to snow, and it really hasn't let up since. So it's a little colder than usual here. Thus the hoodie and a little bit of a fire guy going on here. But also over the weekend, I got an email from a client of mine who's in sunny, beautiful San Diego, California, where actually Ani and I are from. I'm so jealous of their weather right now. But he emailed me asking some questions, or actually making some observations in his day-to-day life of some things that he does throughout the day that he thinks may be contributing to his symptoms, being headaches and migraines, because these things that he does throughout the day is causing his neck to hyperextend. Now, if you're not familiar with what cervical or neck hyperextension is, it basically looks something like this. It's easiest seen from the side, where someone's head is forward, kind of forward and down, and then able to look straight ahead, whether it's at the horizon when they walk, or at a computer screen, or the road if they're driving. They tilt their head up. Now, the only problem with this is, and you might be able to already tell, is now you get this impingement, this kind of pinch going on here in the neck, and that can create neck pain, headaches, migraines, all kinds of things. And it's basically like an accordion smushing together right between either just one or two vertebrae in your cervical spine here. So that's what he means by cervical hyperextension. And I want to make this video to kind of a little bit go more in-depth explanation for him, but as well as I know a lot of people out there are dealing with hyperextension of the cervical spine, otherwise known as the neck. So I thought this would be a good video to make. Now, you might have noticed over here I've got some shoes and this little spiny mat, and you're thinking, okay, we're going to be talking about cervical hyperextension today. What the heck do these things have to do with it? And I'm going to definitely show you. But there's a few common denominators I've noticed amongst people with cervical hyperextension in their posture. And usually, okay, yeah, it's this forward head position and tilting up, but why is this like this in the first place? Well, actually, to answer that question, we have to start all the way down at the feet, thus the shoes. So usually, people's feet, their heel is elevated above their toe because they're wearing some type of positive heel or lift. And I'm not just referring to women in high heels, although that's the extreme definition of a positive lift or heel, but the same thing can be applied towards men's shoes. Any average dress shoe or tennis shoe, you can see this is a tennis shoe, this is an old shoe of my wife's, where the heel sits higher than the toes, all right? And you might go, okay, well, that's great, I understand that, but what does that have to do with anything? Well, if your heels go higher than your toes, that's going to cause your hips and or pelvis to either shift anteriorly, meaning push forward, and or tilt anteriorly. So you could be shifted forward and posteriorly tilted, or you could be maybe just anteriorly tilted, or shifted forward and anteriorly tilted. Either way, that now is going to cause a chain reaction from your lower back to your mid-back to your upper back. It's going to cause this chain reaction of changing the curvature in your spine. And usually what happens is something like this. The hips shift forward, okay? Then, as a way to compensate, because if you can tell I'm leaning forward right now, if I kept leaning forward, I'd fall on my face. So the body will shift the upper body back. This is what's known as sway back, and I've gone over this in past videos. So it'll go into sway back, where the shoulder now presents itself posterior to the hip. But now, so I don't fall backwards, your body makes one more shift in weight, and it rounds your upper back forward, rounds your shoulders forward, like so, and then pushes your head forward. Now, able to look straight ahead at a computer screen, road, or whatever at the horizon, you have to tilt your head up, thus causing the hyperextension. So it started down at the feet with that positive heel lift. Your hips and or pelvis compensated by either shifting forward and or anteriorly tilting, which then caused your upper body to sway back, which then caused your upper back and shoulders to round forward. And last but certainly not least, what we're actually talking about here, causes your head to move in a forward position. And then in order to look straight ahead, you're forced to hyperextend at the neck. So we kind of have to use that like reverse engineering to figure out, okay, where do we start to treat this? Well, there's a few things you can do that I'm going to kind of go in order of where you can get the most kind of bang for your buck. So first of all, like I said, it starts with what's on your feet, okay? Get out of a positive heel shoe. Now, I've got something here. This is Anya's 5-finger shoe. Now, you don't have to have one of these shoes with the toes, because I also know that some workplaces won't allow them, which that's a whole nother topic for another video post, which I think is crazy that they don't allow, but okay, fine, whatever. You can get dress shoes now, and shoes that really, unless anybody knows what they're actually looking at, they have no idea that it's a zero drop shoe. And zero drop means that from heel to toe or heel to ball of foot, there's absolutely zero drop of angle, right? Even if you had something like I have a cross-trained shoe that's like a 4mm drop, even something like that would be better than the 10, 11, 12 or more drop that you get from a regular shoe like this, or guys, you know, a loafer or some type of dress shoe that you would normally wear at work. And women, way, way better than any type of heel that you're wearing at work, okay? So that'll help tremendously. So now, after you've got that heel now down on the ground, that's going to help take your hips and place them more underneath you. But let's say for whatever reason you get rid of the shoes, you get into either you're walking around barefoot or something with no positive heel, right? You want a neutral, so where the heel and the toes are parallel. Okay, but let's say maybe your hips are still shifted forward and or anteriorly tilted, okay? So then I'm going to link to down below this video a post that I've done about this postural deviation and what you can do to correct it. So that's the second thing, is we need to make sure that your hips are directly over your knees and ankles. When they are, your upper back is most likely going to go back into proper alignment, get rid of that sway back and roundedness in the upper body, and straighten up, thus pulling your head back. But let's say your spine is very stubborn and it's still, okay, you're now wearing the right shoes, your hips are over your knees and ankles, but now your upper body is still swayed back and your shoulders are rounded forward, head forward, okay? Then what you want to do is do the routine for sway back, which again, I'll link to each of these posts down below. They'll be clearly labeled. So you want to get this sway back so now your shoulders don't sit behind your hips, they sit above your hips, all right? Then you want to look at your shoulders. So maybe from here you're in good alignment, but your head's still forward, you notice that you're still hyperextending at the neck. Well, it could be due to your shoulders being rolled forward. So look at yourself in the mirror. If you look in the mirror and you can see the backs of your hands like this, that's a sign right there that your shoulders are rounded forward. Ideally relaxed, you should just be able to see the thumb and forefinger. So if your shoulders are rounded forward, you're going to want to do the routine for rounded shoulders. All right. Again, all these will be linked to down below. And when you have all those things in alignment, when your heel is on the ground, not lifted above your toes, right? When your hips are directly above your knees and ankles, when your shoulders sit directly above your hips, you're going to have a proper S curvature of your spine, and thus your head will sit over your shoulders where it belongs. It's not going to be out here in front, and you won't have to look up in order to see straight ahead, thus causing that hyperextension of the neck, okay? So posture-wise, those are the things you want to pay attention to. And if all those things are, you can check off as, all right, I got that, then I can pretty much guarantee you that you're not going to have neck hyperextension, all right? But let's say even if you do have good posture and maybe just temporarily you're sitting down and you're looking at a computer like this, right? And you're looking up. A lot of people, when they think of trying to pose for good posture, they think of looking up, pulling their shoulder blades back, okay? Let me give you a better alternative, and it's pull your head up and back. So think of a string right here, and I pull it up and back. It's not looking up, right? Because that's going to cause hyperextension. You want to actually engage the muscles in your upper back, almost where your upper back shoulder area meets your neck, to pull your head up and back. And if you do it correctly, you shouldn't feel really much tension in your neck. You should feel the tension, and I don't mean like bad tension pain, but muscle tension is if you were like lift a weight with your arm, you feel your muscle contract. You should feel that same type of phenomenon happen in the muscles in your upper back area, because cervical movement, neck movement, actually begins in the upper back, okay? So again, head, up and back, and you can hold that, and you can even do that as an exercise a few times throughout the day. So maybe do 10, 20 repetitions where you just go kind of this up and back slant, and as I'm doing this right now, I can feel those muscles working, and afterwards, oh, they're a little bit taut, and they keep me more upright. So something to think about. So that kind of covers it all for posture, the shoes, different things to look for in your alignment. But there's a few more things that you can do to help if you're experiencing, say, headaches or migraines or neck pain from neck hyperextension, all right? So number one is a lot of these things that people get in hyperextended, they're usually sitting, looking at a computer, sitting, driving, and a lot of it is a lot just sitting. So try not to get stuck in any one position for too long, if you can really help it. Every 20 minutes that you're sitting, try to get up for a minute or two and move around. Or if you kind of catch yourself in this rounded forward position and you're hyperextended, take a break, even if it's just for 1 minute, pull your head up and back, sit up, with the best posture you can, and one, get a drink of water, because you're probably dehydrated, and two, is take a good, 5 to 10 deep breaths, engaging your diaphragm, okay? So you just want to inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, and each breath should take 4 or 5 seconds to inhale and 4 or 5 seconds to exhale. There's a great app I'll link to down below called Food Sense, which I referred to in a previous post about testing food intolerances. And on that app, they got a great little deal that says relax. And what it does is it helps you practice these calming breaths. And I know it may sound a little like ooh out there, but there's tons of studies that show that these deep cleansing breaths, especially ones that you trigger using your diaphragm, not your chest and your shoulders, they help basically reset your central nervous system and bring your resting heart rate down, your blood pressure, and thus all the tension in your neck and your shoulders or wherever else you're feeling pain is going to be much, much less, and you're going to feel better. So that's the first thing you want to do. Some other things you may want to look into is if you have a job where you have to stare at a computer screen for long periods of time, like me, is check out I don't know if you call it an app, but it's software called Flux, F.LUX. I'll link to it down below. And basically what it does is it helps transition the color of your screen to match the time of day. So you may be aware of this, you may not, but computer screens, they're very bright, right? Especially Macs. I have a Mac, I love it, but the screen is so bright, so white. That white and blue light is great during the daytime, but especially as you work longer into the evening, which I know we all do, even though we're not supposed to, it can be very harsh to the eyes. So it strains the eyes, but also can mess with your natural production of melatonin and other hormones. So ideally during the day, you want your body to first wake up to more red, orange, yellow kind of lights, and then during the middle of the day, blue and white, and then again towards the evening, like after this, as the sun sets and gets into the evening hours, again more of that red, orange, yellowish. So what Flux does is once you set your position wherever you are in the world, it'll know when the sun has gone down and it'll change the color of your screen. And it's funny, I didn't do this for a while because I thought it would mess with how my screen looks and it would be really annoying. But I think that's an excuse, I was putting it off. Once I started doing it, oh my gosh, my eyes don't have to strain as much, which means you're not going to be doing this as much toward the screen because you're looking and trying to read depending on what your eyesight is. But even if you have 20/20 perfect vision, I know you get into your work and you're squinting everything because it's just not natural light. It's not natural for the human eye to look at that digital bright screen, especially in the evening hours. So make sure to check out the Flux app. It's free. It's very easy to download. Literally took me, I think, 15 seconds, including download time, to download it and set up the way that I wanted it. And yeah, it's been great. I just started using it about 2 weeks ago. And now if I actually turn it off, especially in the evening, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is terrible. Why wasn't I using this before? So check that out. That's the Flux software or app. Also check out Gunnar glasses. It's, I believe, Gunnar. I'll find the link and I'll put it down below. And these are glasses that will filter out that blue light, blue and white I believe, but definitely blue light. And again, this is really good for people who have to look at screens for a long period of time, computer workers, photo and video editors. And if you're worried about, if you do any photo editing work and you worry about, well, is this going to give it like a yellow orangish tint, kind of like the Flux software does, they actually do make ones that will filter out the light, but it makes all the colors look natural, so you don't have to worry, about your picture or your video coming out looking weird to someone who isn't wearing these glasses that you're wearing while you're working on it. Very cool stuff. Check that out. And then last, but certainly not least, if you've caught the last few posts, probably about a week or two ago, and I was talking about the Spoonk mat. It's an acupressure mat. Well, we picked ours up, was it Saturday? And we've only had a few days, basically Saturday night, Sunday, and this morning to kind of play around and test it out. That's this little spiny looking mat. Actually, there's two pieces that came with ours. This is the little one, it's kind of travel size, and you can also roll it up into a kind of a pillow. And then there's a bigger one. It's about two and a half times this size that we got. And the reason I mention it here in this post is on one of the posts that I talked to about, somebody commented it, and I'll see if I get the comment and quote them below, but they said, I talked about it, they said, oh, you're absolutely going to love it. It's one of the best things I've found to help ease my pain, including headaches and migraines. So, I myself don't really get headaches and migraines. I haven't had one in a long time. My wife Anya, she'll have them occasionally, but very infrequently. So we haven't had a chance ourselves to test it out, but that's great to hear that other people are benefiting from it, with headaches and migraines and other neck type symptoms. I can tell you from just the few days we've had it, it's been great for loosening up tension in the feet. So if you have plantar fasciitis or any type of foot pain, it's great for that. It really enhances the effects of, say, static back, supine groin stretch, any type of static passive positions that you lie either on your back or stomach. It's been great for that. And again, there's certain positions you can get into it which you can put it directly on your head or your neck. Just haven't had the time to get around to that, but I'll definitely keep you posted. But definitely do check out the Spoonk mat, and I'll again link to it down below. And for all those of you who contributed towards the purchase of this and us testing it, again, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it, and I know everybody else who's watching, who's going to benefit from this information, appreciates it as well. All right, so I think that covers everything. As always, if you have any questions about anything I mentioned here, please don't hesitate to call or email me, or better yet, leave your comments in the comment section below, your questions in the comment section below. That way, everybody else can read them and read my reply, my answers, and we can all learn together. All right. Anyways, thanks for joining me today. If you're somewhere cold in the world like we are currently, stay warm and have yourself a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you inside the next video. Until then, take care and keep moving.